There's been a rise in anti-Semitism in Britain, and it's a deeply troubling phenomenon that demands immediate vigilance and action. And recent events an event yesterday underscores the danger and ignorance fueled by this hatred and fueling this hatred, which conflates legitimate criticism of Israeli policies and the Israeli leaders with racism and hatred towards Jewish individuals or Jewish groups. And this dangerous conflation is both illiberal and ignorant, and it remains profoundly dangerous and offensive. And in Hendon, a London neighbourhood with a significant Jewish population, anti-Semitic flyers were distributed bearing hateful messages in Hebrew, such as "every Zionist must leave Britain or be slaughtered," and declaring the area a Zionist-free zone. These flyers, written, as I say, in botched Hebrew and English, were reported by GB News and other organisations, highlighted by organisations like Stand With Us UK. Isaac Zafari, the executive director of Stand With Us UK, warns that these red lines being repeatedly crossed are not mere rhetoric. We must take these threats and statements seriously, he says, because they will one day turn into actions, and decisive steps are needed to combat this alarming phenomenon. And this sentiment reflects the broader concern of Jewish communities who fear these hateful acts may escalate into violence. And the flyer campaign, follows another incident in Hendon, where anti-Semitic graffiti, including swastikas and phrases which I can't repeat here on YouTube, including a reference to Hitler, were etched into the sand dunes of a local golf course just before Yom Kippur. Such acts are designed to intimidate and isolate Jewish communities. The Community Security Trust, the CST, which monitors and responds to anti-Semitism in the UK, has reported a quadrupling of anti-Semitic hate crimes since October 2023, coinciding with the Hamas attack on Israel. And Jewish individuals have become the most targeted minority faith in the UK. The London Mayor, Sadiq Khan, condemned these acts, saying hate crime is a criminal offence and has no place in London. This rise in anti-Semitism is reflective of the dangerous inability some people have to distinguish between being Jewish and being Israeli, or between this legitimate criticism of Israel's leaders and the outright hatred of Jewish people. And the rhetoric often escalates beyond criticism of leadership to blanket condemnation of all Jewish people, perpetuating harmful stereotypes and fostering an environment of hostility. Addressing anti-Semitism requires immediate and forceful action. First of all, it requires a legal enforcement. As Jewish residents in Hendon have urged, whoever made these flyers should feel the full force of the law, and authorities must treat such threats with the utmost seriousness and ensure that the perpetrators are genuinely held accountable. Community support organisations like Stand With Us and CST must play a vital role in protecting Jewish communities and educating the broader public about the danger of anti-Semitism. Their work must be supported and amplified. Public education, which is partly where I'm afraid I come in a little, misconceptions fueling anti-Semitism must be challenged through education. This includes teaching the distinction between criticism of governments and hatred towards an entire ethnic or religious group. This requires a revamp of our religious education syllabuses, which I've been talking about for a few months now. They are hopeless. They've been hopeless for a while. As I say, the last time I went into a school and taught religious studies or religious education, I forget what it was called then, PHSE or something, or PTSD. I forget what the acronym is. I was appalled by the idiocy, the vapidity of the course, and the students in the class were bored by it. And I came in to take 2 or 3 classes because the teacher was ill or something, or I don't remember exactly, but I remember I didn't have the book, and I answered questions, and one of the children pointed out to me that I seemed to know what I was talking about, and I was appalled that their own teacher clearly didn't, and they had a number of quite major misconceptions which they had been taught. So we got rid of those, but the problem is it is an appallingly taught subject, and the syllabuses which are on offer are appallingly structured around rites of passage. We need children to be taught about the value of different religious traditions, about the key points in the texts, and the way those traditions have informed culture. And it's that which is probably the most important thing. Religious education can help to bridge the divide between communities, and because communities are often defined by religious traditions, and that is why it's important. It's not a comparative religion exercise. It's about an enriching how different cultures enrich our society, and how we can better understand and embrace those cultures, and getting to know the core texts that underpin their religious traditions. Not everything is worship, by the way. And fourthly, strong political condemnation, such as that from Sadiq Khan, is essential to signal that anti-Semitism should not be tolerated and will not be tolerated. However, words must be matched with action, including resources for law enforcement and community outreach programs if necessary. Anti-Semitism is a stain on any society that tolerates it, and Britain must not remain passive. As Zafati aptly notes, this is not another wave that will pass if we remain passive. Decisive action is required to protect Jewish communities here in the UK, to uphold the values of equality and tolerance, and the stakes are not only for the safety of Jewish individuals but for the moral fabric of British society itself.